History was made on the red clay of Roland Garros today. 21-year-old Coco Gauff just became the first American woman to win the French Open since Serena Williams in 2015, defeating world no. 1 Aryna Sabalenka in a breathtaking 3-set thriller. But this isn't just another tennis victory. It's a generational changing of the guard, a story of resilience after early heartbreak, and proof that sometimes the most powerful thing a young athlete can do is refuse to let failure define them. 3 years ago, Gauff was an 18-year-old sobbing after losing the French Open final to Iga Swiatek. Today, she's holding the same trophy that eluded her, having learned that champions aren't made in moments of triumph, they're forged in the fires of defeat.
I watched Coco's journey from that devastating 2022 final loss to today's triumph, and what strikes me isn't just her tennis evolution, it's her mental transformation. That 18-year-old who lost to Swiatek was talented but fragile. The 21-year-old who beat Sabalenka today is a warrior. She came back from a set down against the world's best player, in a final, on clay, the most demanding surface in tennis. The way she composed herself after losing that first set tiebreak, the way she immediately shifted gears and broke Sabalenka to start the second set, that's not just athletic skill, that's championship character.
What we witnessed today is the textbook definition of post-traumatic growth in athletics. Gauff didn't just overcome her 2022 final loss, she used it as fuel. Research shows that young athletes who experience significant failures often emerge stronger if they have the right support system and mindset. Gauff's ability to learn from that defeat, to come back 3 years later and execute under the same pressure, demonstrates remarkable psychological resilience. She's proven that early setbacks don't predict future outcomes. They can actually accelerate development.
As someone who works with young Black athletes, Coco's victory today is seismic. She's not just carrying American tennis, she's carrying the dreams of an entire generation of kids who see themselves in her. When she collapsed on that clay court after winning, it wasn't just about tennis. It was about a young Black woman proving she belongs at the pinnacle of a traditionally white, elite sport. The fact that she won on clay, historically the most challenging surface for American players, makes it even more symbolic. She didn't just break through barriers, she demolished them.
Maria, walk us through what made today's match so special beyond just the result.
This match had everything: momentum swings, technical brilliance, and raw emotion. Coco lost the first set in heartbreaking fashion, coming back from 4-1 down only to lose the tiebreak. But instead of letting that deflate her, she came out for the second set like a woman possessed. She broke Sabalenka immediately, then again, then again. 6 games to 2, it was surgical. The third set was where champions are made, both players trading breaks, the wind swirling, the crowd on edge. When Coco served for the match at 5-4, you could feel the weight of history. And she delivered.
What's remarkable is how Gauff managed her emotions throughout the match. After losing that first set tiebreak, she could have spiraled. That's exactly what happened to her in 2022. Instead, she reset immediately. You could see her talking to herself, using positive self-talk, controlling her breathing. When she won that crucial break in the third set to go up 4-3, she didn't celebrate. She just moved to the next point. That's elite-level mental management from someone who's still only 21 years old.
The symbolism of beating Sabalenka can't be overstated. Aryna is everything Coco isn't: tall, powerful, aggressive. She hits the ball harder than almost anyone on tour. For Coco to beat her with speed, court coverage, and tactical intelligence shows that there are multiple paths to greatness. Young players watching today learn that you don't have to be the biggest or strongest to be the best. Sometimes being the smartest and most persistent is enough.
Dr. Mitchell, let's talk about the pressure Coco was under. How significant is it that she won this as the American #1?
The pressure was immense and multifaceted. She was carrying American tennis hopes. No American woman had won the French Open in a decade. She was the #2 seed, expected to win. She was playing against the world one who had beaten her in their last meeting. And she was doing it 3 years after her devastating final loss on the same court. Most athletes would buckle under that weight. The fact that she not only handled it, but thrived under it suggests she's developed elite-level pressure management skills.
What impressed me most was her tactical adaptation during the match. In the first set, she was trying to outpower Sabalenka. That's not her game. But by the second set, she had shifted to her natural style. Speed, defense, making Sabalenka beat herself. She started hitting with more spin, bringing Sabalenka forward, then passing her. She turned the match into a chess game instead of a slugfest, and that's where her intelligence shines. That level of tactical awareness during a Grand Slam final shows true champion instincts.
The way she handled the crowd was beautiful too. French crowds can be tough on American players, but they embraced Coco. When she thanked them in her on-court interview, saying she didn't know what she did to deserve their love, you could see how much it meant to her. That connection with the crowd, that humility despite her success, that's what makes her special. She's not just a great player, she's a great ambassador for the sport.
Keisha, let's talk about the broader impact. What does this mean for American tennis and young athletes?
This is a watershed moment. American women's tennis has been searching for its next star since the Williams sisters' dominance. Today we found her. But more than that, Coco represents a new model for success. She's thoughtful, articulate, socially conscious. She uses her platform to speak about issues that matter. She shows young athletes that you can be elite and authentic, competitive and compassionate. That's a powerful message for kids who often feel they have to choose between success and staying true to themselves.
From a developmental perspective, Coco's story is incredibly instructive. She burst onto the scene at 15, faced early expectations and setbacks, but maintained perspective throughout. Her parents deserve credit for keeping her grounded. She took time for education, maintained friendships outside tennis, developed interests beyond the sport. That holistic development is why she could handle today's pressure. She knows tennis is important, but it's not everything, and paradoxically, that makes her better at tennis.
Technically, this victory shows she's mastered all surfaces. Hard courts at the US Open, now clay at the French Open. The only American since Serena to win Grand Slams on multiple surfaces at such a young age. Clay requires patience, stamina, sliding technique. It's the most demanding surface mentally and physically. The fact that she conquered it suggests she could win Wimbledon and complete a career Grand Slam. We might be watching the beginning of something truly special.
Maria, what was the most telling moment of the match for you?
It was after she saved that break point in the final game. Sabalenka had fought off one championship point and had a chance to get back on serve. The old Coco might have tightened up. Instead, she stepped up and hit a backhand winner down the line that was absolutely perfect. Then, when Sabalenka's final shot sailed wide, Coco didn't just celebrate, she collapsed. The emotion was raw, real, 3 years of work culminating in that moment. That's when I knew we were watching something historic.
What stood out to me was her self-talk throughout the match. You could see her lips moving, coaching herself through difficult moments. After losing the first set, she didn't look to her coaching box for reassurance. She found it within herself. That internal locus of control is what separates champions from talented players. She's learned to be her own best coach in crucial moments, which is essential for Grand Slam success.
The moment that got me was when she was serving for the match and the crowd started chanting her name. She stopped, took a deep breath, and smiled. Not nervously, but with genuine appreciation. She wasn't intimidated by the moment, she was embracing it. That ability to find joy even in high-pressure situations is rare. It shows she's playing tennis because she loves it, not because she has to. That's sustainable motivation for a long, successful career.
Looking ahead, where does this victory take Coco and American tennis?
This victory removes all remaining doubt about her championship credentials. She's now proven she can win on different surfaces, against different styles of players under maximum pressure. Psychologically, this is massive for her confidence. She knows she can do it again. The question isn't if she'll win more Grand Slams, but how many. Her age and rate of improvement suggest we could be looking at a generational talent.
The implications for American tennis are huge. Madison Keys won the Australian Open this year. Now Coco has the French Open. Americans have won 2 of 4 Grand Slams so far in 2025. We have depth we haven't had in years. But more importantly, Coco's success is inspiring the next generation. Kids who watch today's match will pick up rackets because of her. That's how tennis cultures are built, one inspirational moment at a time.
For young athletes, especially young Black athletes, Coco represents possibility. She shows that excellence and authenticity can coexist. She's changed the conversation about what American tennis looks like, sounds like, feels like. The kids I coach don't just see a champion when they look at Coco. They see someone who looks like them, who cares about the things they care about, who proves that success doesn't require changing who you are.
What lessons does Coco's journey offer to young people facing their own setbacks?
The most powerful lesson is that failure is data, not destiny. Coco's 2022 final loss could have defined her career negatively. Instead, she used it as information about what she needed to improve. She worked on her mental game, her tactical understanding, her physical conditioning. 3 years later, that loss became the foundation for today's triumph. Young people need to understand that setbacks are temporary if you're willing to learn from them.
Persistence beats talent when talent doesn't persist. Coco wasn't the most naturally gifted junior player. She worked harder than everyone else. She faced criticism, doubt, early losses. But she never stopped believing in herself, never stopped working. Today's victory is validation that consistency and character matter more than momentary brilliance. That's a lesson every young person can apply, whether they're pursuing athletics, academics, or any other dream.
The technical lesson is huge too. You don't have to be perfect to be great. Coco made errors today, lost the first set, faced adversity. But she adapted, fought back, found a way to win. Perfection is the enemy of excellence. Young athletes put so much pressure on themselves to never fail that they forget failure is part of the journey to success. Coco embraced the struggle and came out stronger.
Maria, Dr. Mitchell, Keisha, thank you for helping us understand the magnitude of what we witnessed today. Coco Gauff's victory at the French Open is more than a tennis triumph. It's a masterclass in resilience, growth, and the power of refusing to let early failures define your future. You've shown us how a 21-year-old transformed heartbreak into history, how she carried the weight of expectations and turned it into fuel for greatness. Today's victory represents everything we celebrate at Unstruck TI, the human stories behind the headlines, the individual triumphs that inspire collective change. Coco didn't just win a tennis tournament. She proved that young people can overcome adversity, that authenticity and excellence aren't mutually exclusive, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to give up. 3 years ago, she was an 18-year-old in tears, devastated by defeat. Today, she's a champion who turned her greatest disappointment into her greatest achievement. That transformation from heartbreak to history is a reminder that our setbacks often become the stepping stones to our comebacks. In a world that often expects young people to be perfect, Coco Gauff shows us that being persistent is far more powerful.